Conversation with Josh Shapiro, the Pennsylvania Attorney General, and with Dave Reed from First Commonwealth Bank, presented by Marcus and Mack, a law firm representing injured people. I still call him Representative Reed. Dave not on the line with us just yet, but Josh Shapiro is. Mr. Attorney General, good morning.
Hey, good to be with you this morning. I hope everybody is well and healthy and taking care of themselves and their neighbors.
Well, we're doing our best, and everybody across Pennsylvania, I hope, is doing their best. You are helping out with the PA Care Package, which was announced just this week, and First Commonwealth Bank is the second one in the state to sign on for this commitment. It's got some bones behind it, doesn't it? This is a strong policy that is being enacted.
It sure does, and let me, I appreciate you having me on. Let me just back up a half step and explain what this is all about and why we're doing it. Look, as the Attorney General of Pennsylvania, my job is to protect people's safety and look out for consumers and the general welfare of the Commonwealth. And right now, obviously, we're all so focused on our physical health, and we should be, maintaining physical distance and things like that. But we also have to be very mindful that financially so many families and businesses are hurting. Our unemployment numbers are going to hit 900,000 people in just the last couple of weeks. And there's an effect of that. People's inability to pay their car loans or make their mortgage payments and things like that. And so I reached out to banks all across Pennsylvania and said, look, y'all need to join me in this effort to protect families, to protect Pennsylvanians. And the good news is banks are really stepping up to make a difference here and helping, particularly First Commonwealth Bank and Dave Reed, who's their regional president. Here's what our Pennsylvania Care Package does that we started in the Office of Attorney General. It would give folks a 90-day grace period on making mortgage payments, a 90-day grace period on payments of consumer loans, all kinds of consumer loans, a 90-day window with none of those annoying fees, those late fees and overdraft fees and insufficient fund fees, a 60-day hold on all new foreclosures and auto repossessions, not reporting any later missed payments to those credit reporting agencies so your credit isn't harmed in this process. And so I've asked all banks in Pennsylvania to sign on to this. We began with PNC, which is Pennsylvania's largest bank, now one of our premier regional banks. First Commonwealth signed on. We're going to be rolling out, many, many more today and in the days to come who have signed up. This is a way to help better protect consumers during these challenging times. And I commend leaders like Dave Reed and others who are stepping up to do their part.
Mr. Attorney General, this doesn't just happen. I mean, it's not something that on the spur of the moment you roll out. It took some work to put this together, didn't it?
It sure did. I started working on this last week with bankers across Pennsylvania and our team. And look, someone asked me yesterday, how are you forcing them to do this? Are you going to sue them if they don't do this? Are you going to arrest somebody? And obviously, we're neither suing nor arresting anybody. What I've done is I've appealed to them and said, we need your help in this battle. Work with us. And the good news is the banks are stepping up to do that. It's not been easy, but we're building a coalition. That coalition is growing. Having banks like First Commonwealth on board really help in that effort. And this is something we take very seriously, protecting consumers. It's why we've been so aggressive on dealing with price gouging, and why yesterday I put all landlords across Pennsylvania on notice that they can't evict people during this disaster declaration. We're just trying to do everything we can to protect consumers right now during these really difficult times.
Last week we had our good friend, U.S. Attorney Scott Brady, on with us talking about that effort that you just mentioned, scammers, price gouging, all of that, and the combined strength of the state and the federal resources to protect consumers there. It's a sad thing, but it's true. There are people out there that are going to do whatever they can to take advantage of whatever situation arises.
Yeah, now look, I will say a few things. What I have seen from the vast majority of Pennsylvanians is just goodness, right? Looking out for their neighbors, looking out for others, looking out for their customers and clients. But yes, there are some bad actors. And where there are bad actors, we in the Office of Attorney General step in and step up. And we also partner with other law enforcement agencies at the federal, state, and local level as a force multiplier to protect people. And you cited one of those examples. my good friend Scott Brady, who is the United States Attorney for the Western District of Pennsylvania. Scott and I got together a couple weeks ago and said, look, we need to have a special task force focused on dealing with scams and others trying to take advantage of people during these challenging times. And Scott and I began the first Attorney General, United States Attorney task force in the whole country, and it's right here in Western Pennsylvania. And now that's become a model for how other state attorneys general and other United States attorneys are acting. And we're really proud of that. And Scott's doing a hell of a job there trying to keep people safe, and we appreciate him.
We're on the line with Pennsylvania Attorney General Josh Shapiro today. The PA Care Package was announced just this week, and First Commonwealth Bank has signed on. We asked a couple of our business friends if they could ask you a question or two, what would it be? And one of them came through with this question. If a company is doing business with a bank other than First Commonwealth, what can they do through First Commonwealth's involvement in the PA Care Package? You may have already answered that by saying you're working with other banks to get them online too, but if you could answer that question.
Sure. Well, I'll let Dave Reed, when he gets on, answer the questions about First Commonwealth, but here's what I will tell you. More and more banks are signing on. Big banks, regional banks, national banks. And I think by, as a few days go forward here, you're going to see, many, many more banks on board, and that's going to help a lot of Pennsylvanians. If you're a customer of a bank who's not yet part of the Pennsylvania Care Package, encourage them to get on board. These are things that banks should be doing. It doesn't put them at a competitive disadvantage, and it helps their customers at this challenging time. So my advice would be get on board right now if you can, and if you can urge your bank executives to get on board, that would help as well.
One of the other business owners wanted to know about just a small construction company, has 2 employees, and with the requirements to stay off the job, he's having a really difficult time deciding, well, what's my lost income going to be? What's my future look like? How do I predict that? And does that impact my ability to participate in items like the PA Care Package?
No, I don't think it should. Look, we're all dealing with tumultuous times now, and that's understandable and to be expected given what's going on. But no, that should not, prohibit your ability to participate in this program.
Okay, that's good news. We understand Representative Reed. There I am calling him Representative Reed again. You don't have any problem working with a Republican, do you?
No, in fact, when Dave gets on, I'm sure he'll agree with this. I'm a Democrat, he's a Republican. We actually served together in the House for many years. We were both kind of new backbenchers years ago. I ended up leaving the House. He rose to the heights of being majority leader, and one of the things we always talked about was finding common ground and working together. And look, there is just so much partisanship, and so many, so many people who just want to yell and fight and not actually get anything done. And Dave's the kind of guy who I could always get something done with, and I think he'd say the same thing about me. We need more of that in government.
He is trying to get through, and we're having all kinds of difficulty making that happen. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you a question, and then I'm going to give him a call and see if we can't get it, because the line evidently is not functioning well. Let me ask you more about the PA Care Package and how it was brought together. You mentioned that you were talking with a number of people in the banking industry, and they helped you to form this.
Yeah, they did, but I will say that Pennsylvanians actually helped us to form this. See, we've set up a complaint hotline in the Office of Attorney General. There's a couple different ways you can get to us. You can go on my website, attorneygeneral.gov, and submit a complaint. If it's a specific price gouging complaint, we've received over 3,200 of them since this disaster declaration by the governor here in Pennsylvania. You can email us at pricegouging@attorneygeneral.gov. What we found through going through our complaints, we go through every single one of them when they come in, we found that Pennsylvanians were frustrated by their banks. They were frustrated by the fact that they needed some help on, maybe not making a car payment or a mortgage payment this month because they had just lost their job, and they wanted some help. And it was really because of the complaints we received, because of the stories Pennsylvanians were telling me, that I began this outreach with bank leaders like Dave Reed, and others. And as a result of Pennsylvania bringing this issue to our attention, as a result of community and business leaders like Dave Reed, we were able to put forth not just a really strong Pennsylvania care package, but get important banks like First Commonwealth and PNC and others to sign on and protect their clients and my constituents.
Dave Reed is on the line with us now. We're going to extend this interview past the top of the hour, too, because there's so much to get into. Dave, good morning to you.
Good morning, Todd. Good morning, Josh.
Good morning.
It's good to have you with us, Dave, to comment on this. So Josh has been telling us about the PA Care Package. First Commonwealth Bank, pretty quick to jump on this one, Dave.
Yeah, first, we appreciate the Attorney General with the governor's support, coming out with this program to help our citizens across the state in their time of need. Really a testament to Josh's leadership during these difficult days. And at First Commonwealth, we were very happy 2 weeks ago to really get ahead of the game and offering deferments and extensions to both our consumer and our business clients to make sure that we could take one less item off the top of their mind as they were dealing with the health crisis out there before us. And, really, we are just very pleased to be the first Pennsylvania community bank to formally sign on to the PA Care Package so that our customers can rest assured across the Commonwealth that we're going to be there for them during these difficult days. We're going to help them get through it, and we're going to help them come out on the other end in a good financial situation.
So a lot of folks are sitting out there saying to themselves, all right, my business is certainly impacted by this, and I've got all kinds of financial difficulties. I don't know if I'm going to be able to meet these bills. Of course, this is the beginning of a month, which means the end of the month, a lot of bills come due. From First Commonwealth's perspective, Dave, how do folks who already do business with you take advantage of this, and what do they need to do? What are the steps that they need to take in order to become involved?
I would say there are three very simple ways to reach out to the bank so that we can get you taking advantage of these programs as soon as possible. Number one, you can feel free to contact your normal banker, whoever you normally deal with. Obviously, we've got some changes at our branches to protect the community and to protect our employees, but feel free to reach out via phone, via email, or set up an appointment in one of the branches. You can access the programs at our website, fcbanking.com. Just click on the coronavirus update page, and it will give you the summary of the information and how to apply for the various programs. And number three, our 800 number, 1-800-711-2265. Our engagement center, our call center, is operational 7 days a week. And I would add one more thing for business owners in particular. We are already engaging in the SBA process as a result of the Paycheck Protection Program that we expect the SBA to formally accept those applications starting on Friday. So our team is ready to go as an SBA preferred provider before this whole crisis. We're very familiar with the system, so we can help guide your business through that process as well.
We're on the line with Dave Reed from First Commonwealth Bank and State Attorney General Josh Shapiro talking about the PA Care Package that First Commonwealth committed to just yesterday and is now getting up and going. Dave, for First Commonwealth Bank customers, they'll be able to maybe remain in business where maybe they had doubts about that before. I know that this is really important to the bank.
It really is, and from our vantage point, it's just a testament to our leadership team and all of our employees who put their heads together very, very quickly in this crisis and came to the realization that, you're not just a community bank during the good times. You've really got to be there during the bad times as well. And this is a unique set of circumstances. We've got a healthcare crisis, and that will likely be followed by some economic difficulty along with it. We wanted to make sure that we could give our folks a peace of mind, whether it be a residential mortgage or a car loan, a credit card payment, or a small business problem as well, that we're going to be there for them. We're going to help them guide them and their employees through this process and help them come out on the other end. And I think that's kind of the mindset that Josh, from the Attorney General's perspective, has had, the governor has had, the president has had throughout this process of trying to work our way through it together, because it's going to take more than us individually. Collectively, we're going to have to join forces to make sure that everybody survives these difficult days.
Josh Shapiro, how important is it that Governor Wolf very quickly pledged the support of the Department of Banking and Securities to the PA CARE package?
Well, it's critical because, as Dave talked about, and frankly, as he proved as majority leader during his time in the House, is nothing gets done unless you build strong coalitions and you're willing to work with people. It doesn't matter in a crisis, what party you're in or where you're from. It matters how you develop ideas and how you implement them. And so having the banking department on board, having banks, big banks like PNC and incredibly strong regional banks like First Commonwealth step up early, that sends a really strong signal to others that the coalition is getting bigger, it's growing, and that we need to do our part to deal with this crisis. And I think Dave made a really important point, and I must state for the record, I don't bank at First Commonwealth, so there's no self-interest here or anything like that. But I have to say they are demonstrating a really strong set of leadership values. When Dave says something like, to the effect of, we're not just a community bank during the good times, but also during the challenging times, that's really important. They could make a few extra bucks on fees during this time. They're certainly going to be dealing with some headaches as a result of people not being able to make payments, but they recognize they've got to be there for the community during these challenging times. And I think we all get that at all levels of government. And I, for one, believe government works most effectively when it builds coalitions with the business community, and that can amplify our efforts. So this is a great public-private partnership, and it works because we've got leaders like Dave Reed who are willing to do their part, and banks like First Commonwealth who are willing to step up during these challenging times.
Absolutely. Josh Shapiro, State Attorney General with us. The PA CARES package is out there. Dave Reed, as we move forward, you, of course, are right there from the banking standpoint. You can see the effect that it's having here in Indiana County. From your state experience as a state representative for so many years, you've been working in these circles for quite some time. Never seen times like this, though, have we?
No, I mean, I think we've found times of crisis in the past, but generally they're very isolated. It's a public policy issue. It's a lack of a state budget. It's a natural disaster like a hurricane or a blizzard. To have a pandemic that is literally across the entire globe is just such a unique set of circumstances. But out of the set of circumstances, we're seeing people come together. As Josh Shapiro just noted, you've got the president working with governors, working with attorney generals, working with state legislators, working with private companies, working with nonprofits, working with the educational community. Everybody's going to have to adapt. And as we adapt, life will change throughout that process. But we can get better. We can take care of each other through those times. And luckily, we've had leaders step up to the challenge, locally from the county commissioners to Senator Pittman and Representative Struzzi. But just very appreciative of the Attorney General's leadership on this particular program. And from a First Commonwealth perspective, we're just very happy to jump on board early to take care of our clients and hopefully help set the model for other financial institutions to follow, to be able to take care of all of our folks in need in our community, whether they bank at First Commonwealth or not.
Let me just jump in on that last point about First Commonwealth's leadership. As a result of Dave Reed, President Reed, I guess I need to call him now, signing up, we have had other banks reach out, without me even prompting them and say, well, wait a second. I saw what First Commonwealth did. I saw what PNC did. I want to be on board. It's not always easy being the first one to jump on board as Dave Reed was or as Bill Demchak was. But now, as a result of their leadership, others are stepping up. And the benefit here will go to customers all throughout Pennsylvania who are going to have these, grace periods on mortgage payments and consumer loans and avoid these fees and not worry about their home being foreclosed upon or their cars being repossessed during this time. But this doesn't obviously absolve people of the payments that ultimately they're going to need to make when they get back up on their feet. But being able to have this breathing room so they can focus on staying healthy, keeping their kids healthy, putting food on their table, it's really important. And as I said many times, I'm grateful to First Commonwealth and Dave Reed for answering the call, stepping up, and demonstrating leadership that now others are trying to follow.
Josh, how quickly do you anticipate being able to announce more banks?
Oh, we're going to announce more this morning and throughout the day. And many banks have contacted us just in the last, already this morning, but in the last few hours of the day yesterday, and said they're just running up the flagpole within their institution, and they anticipate signing on. So I don't know that they're moving as quickly as First Commonwealth did, but they're moving, and that's a good thing, and there'll be more to announce today.
Terrific stuff. All right, Dave, as I said, you're always welcome here. Josh, don't be a stranger, okay?
I won't. I'll tell you what, our next program should be from the 9th Street Deli once we're all allowed to come back together. You, me, and Dave will grab a sandwich and we'll do the show there.
There you go. Now we're talking.
The best deli around.
There. Look at that. An endorsement from the Attorney General. They're across the street right now, puffing their chests out. All right, gentlemen.
There you go.
Thank you so much for both being with us today. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Todd.
Good to be with you. Take care.
All right, bye-bye. That is State Attorney General Josh Shapiro and First Commonwealth Bank's Dave Reed with us here this morning on the Voice of Indiana County, WCCS AM 1160 and 101.1 FM. 0.1 FM.